We're now getting some live visuals coming in, and these are coming in from the Sabarmati Ashram, where you have the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Remember, he is on a 2-day visit to India. We're also understanding that UK and Indian businesses are also all set to announce investments, export deals worth over $1 billion. All this is also on the agenda. But currently, the visuals that we're getting in is coming in from the Sabarmati Ashram, where the UK Prime Minister, in fact, has now reached. This is from Gujarat. My colleague and a Foreign Affairs editor, Maha Siddiqui, is now joining us on the broadcast. Maha, good morning. As I said, various aspects that we can expect as far as this short and brief visit by the UK Prime Minister, but he's kick-starting it from the Sabarmati Ashram and in Gujarat. What can we expect right through the day?
Largely the leg in Ahmedabad will see business activities. He will be meeting some of the top business leaders, CEOs in Ahmedabad itself, whoever possible. Apart from that, what he'll also be doing is visiting a JCB factory there, and as well as a biotech university. These are some of the crucial aspects of his visit in the Ahmedabad leg. There will be no engagement with Prime Minister Modi in Ahmedabad. That engagement is reserved only for Delhi, unlike what we saw in the past with Shinzo Abe and President Donald Trump. Now, as far as him visiting Sabarmati Ashram is concerned, it's pretty much become a norm that anybody who, of course, visits Ahmedabad goes to the Sabarmati Ashram, looks at how Mahatma Gandhi led his life in the ashram, his ideals, his work, and what he stood for. And in the current times, also very symbolic. Mahatma Gandhi stood for non-violence. He stood for making one's point without any sort of, without harming anybody. So those aspects are also very crucial. How did he lead to the independence of the country using the powerful tool of non-violence? I think those messages certainly will be very important, and even as the country, even as the world rather, is looking at the Ukraine war raging. Meanwhile, what we will expect tomorrow, Ridhima, is the fact that tomorrow the bilateral meeting will take place. And in the backdrop of the Ukraine war, of course, that will be one aspect that will be discussed. What we have picked up is that unlike the other leaders from the West, it is not expected that Boris Johnson will try and lecture India on any count of India's stand on Russia vis-a-vis Ukraine. Apart from that, the more important aspect clearly between India and UK will be any further talk on trade, because we're already in the midst of a negotiation for the free trade agreement.
Correct. Maha, so two things that I want to understand from you. As you said, all eyes will be on that very crucial bilateral also. So one, how important is this meeting in the backdrop of the war? Because India, of course, has taken a very neutral stance, but we've seen a fair share of criticism from some of the Western countries wanting India to be more aggressive. That's one aspect. On the other, there was some sort of chatter as far as possible talks in the extradition of fugitives like Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi.
That's correct. That will also most likely come up. There is the response from the UK, as we've seen always in the past, is that there is a certain procedure by way of law which the UK follows. Over the past years, what has been enhanced, and that has been a positive outcome of the regular engagements between UK and India, has been that between the Home Department in the UK and the Home Ministry in India, the process of putting India's views across properly for an extradition has been streamlined. There is now a mode of communication between the two ends. If documents are required at a hasty pace, those are facilitated. Whatever the procedure is, that India has been able to understand better over the last few years as far as extradition is concerned. And we have seen some successes from the UK as far as extradition is concerned. Yes, of course, Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi's extradition remains still very much a complex issue. The issue will naturally be taken up by the Indian side. What we could expect, though, is something that might not be in very concrete terms be made public, but we will get an understanding of where the two issues lie. Because in the case of Vijay Mallya, Aridma, a lot has been speculated on whether he has moved for asylum in UK, and that is the reason that despite him reaching a dead end really as far as extradition is concerned, he still remains there and hasn't been sent back to India. So perhaps some clarity on that might emerge. This is a very important aspect between the two sides, and India has been taking this up pretty aggressively over the last few years as well.
Ma, I also want to understand from you, just shifting to the developments that we're going to see today, which is why Gujarat? As we were also pointing out earlier, we've seen also a former president of the United States, President Trump also, when we saw Namaste Trump when he was hosted in India. Why does Gujarat become so crucial when we're hosting foreign dignitaries?
So in the past, Ridhima, what we have seen is, for instance, Shinzo Abe, when he went to Gujarat, it was pretty much like a foreign dignitary, being part of a campaign, election campaign. He also performed or undertook a road show along with Prime Minister Modi. And many believe that it was almost virtually kickstarting an election campaign for the BJP, the party. Shinzo Abe, of course, had very good and warm ties, cordial ties with Prime Minister Modi. On the other hand, Donald Trump's Namaste Trump and the large event that was hosted in Gujarat, there were various reasons given for that. Of course, the stadium itself is one of the biggest in the country, biggest in the world. So it had a huge capacity. There could be many more people who could be accommodated there. But one of the large reasons, and that is why even Boris Johnson, visiting Ahmedabad is concerned, is largely around trade and commerce. Even today, if you see the engagements, apart from JCB, and of course JCB also has ties, it's a UK company, so he's visiting the factory there. There were also talks that he will be looking at visiting a milk production factory. Now again, Gujarat has been at the initially at the forefront of the white revolution as well. So in that sense, again, business trade related, because he'll be looking at that element in trade as well. Then again, biotech factory, meeting with some of the CEOs, top leaders, all business related aspects are being held in Ahmedabad. Yes, of course, there has been some criticism from the opposition who have said, why should all dignitaries only be taken to Ahmedabad? Why not other places? So in that context, the BJP also points out that, and the government, that dignitaries have also been taken to Varanasi. They have gone down south to Chennai. We had seen informal meeting with President Xi Jinping in Mahabalipuram. So they are of the view, the present government is of the view that dignitaries should not only be sticking to one central point at Delhi, and they should be shown around the country.
Okay, Ma, I'll just request you to stay on with us.